Hello, and welcome to Linux Forensics here at Pen Tester Academy. In this video, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into some of the processes that looked a little bit suspicious in our second subject for this course. So we noticed a few things that were running, and we ran some of the PS commands, namely PS list and also PS AUX and volatility. And as before, we will use our alias. So as a reminder, I've set up this alias to avoid having to type this obnoxious string all the time, and quite likely fat fingering it most of the time as well. So if I use my alias, now I'm going to use the Linux PS tree command, and I'm going to pipe that to more. So it's off and running, and I see on my first screen nothing terribly interesting. And then on my second screen, I notice I have SSHD running, and it's running SSHD, which runs SSHD, which runs bash, which runs su, which runs bash, which runs insert module. So that's not necessarily all that suspicious when you realize that that process is most likely the process I used for dumping the RAM. However, a little bit further down, I see this guy, drop bear. And we'll have to investigate this guy and see exactly what he is. So he's on process 1284, so you probably want to jot that down. And looking through here, once again, we see our Apache 2 process that was started as root, which then spawn a bunch of other processes that are not running as root. So that's a good thing. We see our Xingxi bind shell process on ID 8540. And notice that when I look at the tree view, I can see very clearly that this spawned a shell, which spawned Python, which spawned a bash shell. So I have multiple levels of strangeness here, where I have shells that are creating shells that are creating shells. And that is pretty much that. So we were able to find a couple of suspicious items by running PS tree. Now I could get a little bit more information about some of these if I want to drill down, and I will use Linux PS env to get the process environment, and I'm going to give it -p, and we'll start with that drop bear process 1284. And you can see this environment, and it says run level equals 2, upstart job, etc. So what this tells me is that this drop bear process is being automatically started in run levels 2 and higher. So someone has installed something, and it wasn't one of the system administrators that's being run every time the system gets booted. So what about some of these other processes? I might have a look at some of these SSH processes. So I'll rerun my command. And this time I'm going to run it for 7621. And I see it's being run user sbin Nothing terribly exciting there. 7681. Something similar. What about this process where someone ran su mysql? I believe it was user 1001. Let's see if there's any other information there that might be interesting. Process ID was 8019. And here I have quite a bit more information, and I can see very clearly that the login was Michael. So this was done from user 1001, who is also Michael. And here I can see that this was done over SSH. So someone logged in as this user and attempted to switch to this bogus MySQL L user. And what else can we find out? Let's have a look at our Xingxi bind shell process. So here, once again, it looks like somebody was logged in, and in fact, the user who was logged in is this bogus MySQL L user. Recall from previous videos that we discovered this bogus user had a home directory of user local MySQL. That's something we probably want to look at later when we start doing some file system analysis. Let's have a look at the bottom process in that chain for the Xingxi bind shell. And here again, it looks very similar. We have the user MySQL L that is running this. Okay, so those are just a quick couple of additional things. And again, as always, we're just constantly adding a little bit of information and a little bit more information to try to put together the pieces of this puzzle and try to figure out what exactly happened on the system. You know, it looks like this Xingxi bind shell is becoming very popular. We've had this rootkit installed on both of our systems so far, and this one seems to have some additional items as well. Well, that's all for this video. As always, if you're enjoying these videos here at Pen Tester Academy, please tell a friend. We'll see you soon.